these stadiums.
Anything that moves between these lines, got to get dealt with.
10-5, and he streaks in. Deep to the post to Lamb. At the 5 to the goal line.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night is presented by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
The Cowboys entered Week 8 on high expectations. They leave with a mountain of problems, falling to the Denver Broncos 44-24, the final score. In Week 8, they fall to 3-4-1 as Denver wins their 8th straight matchup as an organization against the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to break it down for you here on Cowboys Game Night. Welcome in to the Globe Live studios here at the Star in Frisco. Let's take a look at what's happening and how this one unfolded. Early in the first quarter, it was Bo Nix and company that were driving early, but a throw behind the receiver by Nix, a rare mistake by the Denver offense, opened things up for Trequezie Bridges. He has his first interception of his career, and Dallas would end up with a field goal early. Now, moving forward, a left side run from R.J. Harvey, weaving through the Dallas defense. He'd find the end zone for the first time in the matchup. On to the second quarter, it was Denver leading 20-10. They would tack on one more prior to the break. A loft in the back of the end zone. What a grab in the end zone by Pat Bryant, the rookie receiver, over the top of Bridges. Here, got both feet, actually had an extra one for extra measure in bounds. That would make it 27-10 Denver at the break. Into the third quarter we go. Dallas would have an answer, at least at the moment. This one would bring them back within 2 possessions, down by 17. That one made it 27-17, but they still couldn't stop Bo Nix and the Broncos offense. Back of the end zone, his former college teammate in Franklin has his second touchdown of the day. Dallas had one more shot to make this a football game, and that shot was taken away with a red zone turnover. The interception would really seal it for Denver. Both teams would trade touchdowns, and the final score ultimately ending up at 44-24, the final score. Let's take a look at some of the final stats brought to you by Miller Lite. Dallas 4 for 11 on third down. They had 24 first downs in the matchup, but it just did not end up the way that they wanted to, and they fall to 3-4-1. Alongside Isaiah Stanback and Nate Newton from inside the Globe Live studios, I'm Kyle Yeomans. And Nate, this really wasn't a good game all the way around for the Cowboys. They struggled with penalties. They had 9 for 80 yards. They struggled with execution, and really they weren't the more talented team on this field today.
Not on this day right here. I mean, you go on the road, and I'll repeat it over and over. You got to stop the run, and you got to be able to run the ball. We were not able to do either one of them.
Yeah, every category, the Cowboys pretty much took the L. I mean, it didn't matter. Every phase of the game, offense, you didn't do well in the passing game or the running game. Dak had his first under 200-yard passing game, first 2 interception game of the year. You were unable to run the ball effectively with Javonte Williams, which you've done all year long. He's been at the top of the league in that category. Defensively, you couldn't stop a runny nose, whether it was on a run game or whether it was in a passing game. You had 0 pass rush. You had plenty of penalties. It just was bad football for the Cowboys today. They have a lot, as Coach Schottenheimer mentioned earlier, they have a lot to go ahead and correct as they watch this film.
Yeah, one of the things that he talked about in his post-game press conference was it wasn't pretty across the board, and there's a lot of accountability that needs to be taken. Yep. Jerry Jones even said it as well in his post-game comments. He said there is a lot of work left to be done. So the staff knows what it needs to be done. Where do you start, Nate, whenever it comes to this team?
You have to start with your defensive line. I mean, just repeatedly, you don't take care of the situation with the run. You don't earn the right to have. We had 0 sacks. You needed to get this guy on the move, and I'm talking about Bo Nix. You need to knock him off his spot. He sat back there comfortably all night long. He just threw the ball where he wanted to. They rush. You have no lane integrity versus the rush. They did basically what they wanted to do.
All right, when we come back here on Cowboys Game Night, the defense gives up a season-high 44 points. We'll talk about the offense a little bit later, led by Coach Schottenheimer. But what went south on the defensive side of the ball? More Cowboys Game Night after this.
This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Cowboys give up 44 points on the road at Empower Field at Mile High. Welcome back in to Cowboys Game Night. Let's have the discussion that everybody is having on social media right now about this Cowboys team. What is wrong with this defense? Because it's not just one thing one week. It's one thing here, and then another thing there, and then another thing there. Isaiah, where would you start?
Exactly what Nate just said at the end of the last segment. So you have to start with your defensive line. If you don't get your defensive line established to be impactful and take away something, then everything else falls apart. If your defensive line can't be run disciplined and have their gaps, then your linebackers are going to get blocked by 300-plus pounders. If your defensive line can't get home and elicit some kind of pressure on the quarterback, then your secondary is covering for forever because those guys have the ability to sit back there in the pocket and be comfortable. So it starts with the D-line. I don't want to point out one position group and say that one's more important than the other, but everybody's job is made easier when the defensive line does theirs.
What we need to do here was lane integrity, gap integrity for us, the defensive line. If you don't do that right there, then your linebackers can't do what they need to do, and then your safeties have to come up and take up the slack, and no one was tackling well today.
Yeah, the tackling wasn't there. The secondary was stretched because of the lack of pass rush. When you give anybody, especially a quarterback that's playing as well as Bo Nix has been throughout the season, time like that in the pocket, look how much time he has to throw. He's going to have a chance to pick apart your secondary.
Yeah, you can't cover for that long. I mean, whether you're playing man-to-man or whether you're playing zone. If I'm playing man-to-man, that's a long time as a defensive back to play coverage without getting a little handsy like you see on your screen. Somebody's going to get grabbed at some point in time. And if I'm playing zone and the quarterback has time, then you're going to find a window of opportunity as a receiver because somebody's going to be there vacant. And as a quarterback, I have the time to sit back there comfortably and deliver an accurate ball. So it's all bad news whenever you allow for them to have time.
And when you see runs like that right there, it just opens up for the play action pass. We had no penetration in the middle from our defensive line. And when you do not have that right there, it's just you can throw it all over the field.
Everybody's getting hit.
I saw it, the cameraman. Geez.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbin was running into somebody on the sideline on that one. It has to do with physicality up front, but it's also technique, right, Nate? I mean, there are a lot of things that are just not right with the technique of the defensive front.
Yes, but you got to do something. And when the runs you saw right there is where guys getting blocked down on guys pulling around. That means you're losing your contain. Sometimes you have to set the edge, whether you're a linebacker, whether you're a defensive end, and whether you're a safety. You got to come up and set the edge and force that back, and so your help can come save you.
What Nate is alluding to is the same thing that we're going to talk about here in the next segment when we break this thing down on film, because there's a lot to point out, and we're going to highlight just a few of those things.
Oh, looky there. Yeah. Isaiah's been around this a minute. He knows how to tease a segment. When we come back, we're going into the film room with Isaiah. We'll talk about angles that this defense can take better. Plus, we'll flip the script to the offensive side of the ball and Dak Prescott after this.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Cowboys Game Night back here from the Globe Life Studios. Let's go into the film room. Isaiah Stanback, former Super Bowl champion, joining you. And an opportunity to go through what happened on the defensive side of the football. Then we've got an offensive play as well. We've talked about the bad defense. We mentioned the bad angles. Let's take a look at it. What happened on these two plays?
Kyle, are you sure you want to do this?
I do, and I think the team needs to as well this week.
Y'all ready for this? Back in the day, my mom used to put some Vicks Vapor Rub back on my chest back in the day. You just had to take your medicine.
They're not a sponsor.
They're not a sponsor. Nobody's a sponsor in that regard. But here we go. The man on this particular one, all right, is going to be Kaiir Elam. I don't like pointing people out, but the film is the film, and we must point it out. All right, what takes place on this? Run fits, okay? So as we play this thing through, go ahead and play it out. All right, I want you guys to see, boom, 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 pause it right there. Now, we have Dante Fowler Jr. that is trying to get a block, trying to come down here and make a play, but he's getting blocked. He got blocked down, and now he's getting blocked out. He has a double-headed monster right there. So as we play it through a little bit more, look at the opportunity. Boom, pause it. You have to shoot this gap and shoot this gap right now. You have to come with a vengeance. You have to be a heat-seeking missile. If you come with any level of tentativeness, as you see here, pause it. Now, all of a sudden, that running back that you had an angle on, now you don't. Now you're in a position of trail, and now you're going to be chasing this dude from behind because you took a bad angle and you hesitated. And instead of getting him down near the line of scrimmage, this turns into a first down and a big play. Kaiir Elam on that particular play did not do what his team needed him to do on that particular play.
Now, that was not just Kaiir Elam's problem today. There were multiple guys that didn't want to be physical, and it showed up on the film.
Absolutely. And okay, let's go to the next play right here. On this particular play, you guys are going to see these receivers, okay, down here, over here at the edge. You're going to see these guys with short splits. And whenever you see them in short splits as a defensive end, you have to expect, all right, I'm just going to highlight Mr. Sam Williams right here at the end of the line of scrimmage. You have to be alert that these guys want to crack down on you, okay? You go crack, 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 crack. That's usually the call. Now, also the other person I want you guys to pay attention to is going to be right here in the middle, Big Mozzie Smith. Mozzie right now, as alignment looks, Mozzie is on the left side of the center, right? So that means if the play is going to the left, right, then Mozzie Smith has the advantage because that center can no longer cross his face. It's going to be really difficult. But as we see, go ahead and play it out. Boom, pause it right there, right off the back. We said crack, crack, right? He didn't get the crack call, so now you got Sam Williams getting blocked down. Play it a little bit more. All right, we talked about that center, number 60. Pause it again. Number 60 now has done what? He's crossed the face of Mozzie, who had the leverage advantage. So now you have two guys getting cracked down, and now you have their guys with their ability to get outside, play it through. Okay, so both of your guys get reached, pause it again. Now let's look at what's taking place. Now you have a running back who has the vision to look straight through here with everybody that he has in front of him getting blocks. That's a block, 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 that's a block. Everybody's getting blocked, and then you couple that with the fact that, boom, pause it. Terrible effort. This is what we call a loaf right here. I hate pointing it out, but again, it's on the film. Jadeveon Clowney had terrible effort right here, and because of that, and you guys want every question, pause it. The man, back it up for me, back it up for me. The man that we said got cracked, back here, Sam Williams, all the way back here in the backside of your screen, he is going to outrun who? He's going to outrun this man right here. You cannot have this effort on the field. You need everybody running to the ball. So even though Sam Williams didn't get the crack call, look at the effort that he's exuding. There's nobody with the number 42 on their back because they didn't put out the effort that they needed.
That's what's really frustrating for fans. That's that one thing right there, because you see the effort from one side. It didn't end up helping from Sam Williams because he was so far behind the play. But there was a chance Jadeveon Clowney makes a play on that ball.
Yep, there's a number of things that took place on that crack call, getting reached, or that's Mozzie Smith, and then lack of effort. All that took place on one play.
Let's flip to the offensive side real quickly here. Take me through what happened on the end of the half. Interception from Dak Prescott. Okay,
so right off the bat, okay, this is going to be two-man coverage. Okay, so two-man, these guys have you man, right? These guys are going to have you man. These guys are going to have you man. But what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to allow, all right, Jake Ferguson, as he goes, they're going to allow him to get over the top. So play it for me a little bit. It's going to go out the screen, so we're going to talk about it in the second play. Pause right there. Okay, so right now, Jake Ferguson is running right up the middle of the field. All right, so as we play it through, you guys are going to see this is the Denver Broncos defense baited Dak Prescott into this play. Pause it. How many people do you see right there? 1, 2, 3. Kyle, as I like to call it, the Bermuda Triangle. Okay, boom, right there. That's not where you want to throw the ball. Let's go ahead and see it on the next look to help you guys understand a little bit better how he got baited. I'm going to tell you again. We're going to play it through. They're going to allow. That's allowing you. Pause it. I'm going to allow you, Jake Ferguson, to beat me over the top. I'm going to be in what we call a trail technique, trailing you, okay, because I'm going to sit in your hip pocket, which is going to force Dak Prescott to try to entice him to throw the ball over the top. When he throws the ball over the top, not only can he has to be absolutely perfect. Pause it right there. I turn around. As soon as I see Jake Ferguson's eyes go back to the ball, I now could turn back to the ball. I'm going to take full advantage. If I don't get this play, there is literally a safety here and a safety coming from here to light you up. So I have three guys to cover one guy. Dak Prescott got baited on that one, and he paid a severe price.
The one thing I hated about this play, even if that's an incomplete pass or even if you complete a short one to the outside, you have a chance at points there at the end of the half to make it a two-possession game. Didn't happen there. Instead, Dallas trailed 27-10 at halftime. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation on the offensive side of the football. Dak Prescott with his worst game statistically of the year. How can the Cowboys get back to their elite status on that side of the ball?
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Cowboys fall on the road to the Denver Broncos, 44-24 the final score. Back with Isaiah Stanback and Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Dak Prescott, 19 for 31 passing, 188 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, ending a streak of 4 straight games with 3 touchdowns and no picks. I'll start with you, Nate, since we just heard from Isaiah. When you watched the passing game from Dallas today, what was the wrong side of things, and how can they get better going into Monday Night Football?
Well, Denver had 2 sacks, but that wasn't the big issue. What they did was they brought enough pressure from Benito and those guys to knock Dak off the spot. And a lot of time, pressure is what hurts you because it throws out the time into the wide receivers. Our tackles didn't play very well. Our center, he just maintained a little bit, but we needed for our tackles to play excellent.
It was pressure. It was a front 7 of Denver. That's what it was. They made it uncomfortable for Dak. He never felt like he could set his feet, as you guys are seeing on the screen. He's always having to move around, always having to try to work the pocket. And when you do that, then you know that you're under duress. And then they're playing man defense on top of that. There's not a lot of room. There's not a lot of room for your receivers to get open, so everything has to be perfect.
You mentioned pressure there. Dak has been really good against pressure throughout the year. The run game has helped with that. The lack of a run game today was a problem, but why was today different for Dak in having to deal with pressure? Because he looked rattled at times in this one.
There's a difference between pressure and blitzes, right? So people talk about pressure, they put it in the same category as a blitz. Dak's really good at identifying when a blitz is coming and being able to protect and work his way in the pocket. Pressure means that there's people coming from all over the place, right? It might be one person, it might be 2 or 3 people. Tonight it was all 5 of them jokers.
And it may not be schemed.
Exactly. This was pressure from all over. This was not one man you had to be concerned about. We talked about it in the pregame show. You had to be concerned with the entire front 7 of Denver Broncos.
And the thing about it, they had better corners. We played against Patrick Surtain. He's a better corner. He got hurt and missed a lot of games, but they schemed it up so he could be on either CeeDee Lamb or George Perkins. So they had a better corner, and their secondary players on average were better.
Both guys, Pickens and Lamb, had over 70 yards, but a lot of that was late and at different times in the game. Dak Prescott, those 2 picks, big day for the Denver defense in this one. When we come back, they also slowed down the run, and Javonte Williams returned to Denver. We'll hear from Williams and talk about the run game next.
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Dallas Cowboys Game Night was presented by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Yeah, I mean, it felt familiar because I've been here I was there for 4 years, but, I mean, it was just another game for me.
Carries, 41 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Javonte Williams in his return to Denver. The 2 touchdowns were nice, but really the run game never got going, Nate.
No, it didn't. And they need to do better. And each person need to check himself. And I'm talking about offensive and defensive lines. Check yourself. Look at what you did wrong and correct them quickly.
It wasn't just another game for Javonte. He's doing what's PC, politically correct, and I respect it. But the reality is he needed more touches. Javonte Williams needed more touches. There was nothing that he did not do properly tonight to regulate him to the only 13 touches. He needed more.
And they tried to mix in Jaden Blue a couple different times, ended up with a fumble. Some good things from the rookie, but at the same time,
it felt forced.
This wasn't the game that it felt like it was natural for him to get those opportunities.
It felt forced. It really did. I mean, Javonte Williams is a top 2 running back in his league statistically right now. For him to only have 13 opportunities, that's criminal.
Of course, the Cowboys get a little bit of extra time. They've got a Monday Night Football game this week. Actually, they're on Monday Night Football the next 2 games. It's Arizona in Week 9, then a bye week in Week 10, and then it's the Las Vegas Raiders on the road in Monday Night Football. Primetime lights in Week 11. That's going to do it for us here on Cowboys Game Night. For Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans. So glad you joined us. Once again, the final score from Denver. The Broncos win it 44-24. We'll see you next week on Monday Night Football.